Hello and thank you for watching this out of the theater reaction to Don't Worry Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde and starring Francis Pugh. I just got out of the theater, which is directly behind me here at Yonge and Dundas Square in Toronto, all the bright lights and the big city behind me. I've calmed down a little bit since my actual reaction, which I recorded into my cell phone. The gist of it is, for me, is that this really is Florence Pugh's movie. She carries this movie. She's exceptional, incredibly talented, as we all know, and she turns in another wonderful performance. She is this movie. Without this movie is nothing, and I'm not just saying that. This movie really is nothing without Florence Pugh and her central performance, because there really is nothing going on with this movie outside of, its style, its design. And so if that's something that really interests you, you might get a little bit more out of this movie, but that is not what most people go to movies for. This could have been a 20-minute short film. It has some, graphic visual elements. It was shown in IMAX, which I have no idea why. I don't believe anything in the film was shot in IMAX. It never switches to an IMAX ratio during any of the action sequences. It's pretty standard cinematic aspect ratio throughout the whole thing. It's not exactly Jordan Peele's Nope, although it does kind of share a kind of milieu, for lack of better words, of the Nope. Like Nope and this would kind of make a good double bill in that they're both kind of underwhelming and disappointing. Nope has a lot more going for it, granted. It does use IMAX to scale, and it is visually stunning, and it's a much better film. This film feels like someone playing at making a movie, and it just hammers on the same points over and over again. Every transition is exactly the same. Coffee cups, toast, bacon, eggs is one scenario, and the other scenario is these Busby Berkeley kaleidoscopic black and white dance numbers, which endlessly, every 5 minutes, it's like, come on, man, we get it. Nice patterns, all that stuff, but it's really just a design element. It has nothing to do with the movie. This sort of big reveal or whatever, the Victory Project, is another big red herring. It's nothing. It's worse than a MacGuffin. There's just nothing there. There's no there. There's no movie here. It's all style. And Harry Styles is the perfect style for this movie. The audience, I would say, that I saw it with was overwhelmingly female, and they seemed to lap it up for the most part. There was a lot of laughs, a lot of inadvertent laughter, especially around Mr. Styles and some of his acting, if you can call it that. So, actually, you can call it that, because he was definitely acting a storm. Not to dump on the guy, he's a musician or whatever, I don't know. I don't know his stuff at all, but he's not a compelling actor, so there's a reason why Shia LaBeouf probably stepped out of this project. There's really no meat on the bones here. Certainly not enough for an actor of Mr. LaBeouf's character to dig his method acting chops into. Really, this film is all style. It's about design, this 1950s design, this fetishistic retread into the 50s with no real reason. If we want to talk about the 50s, then we've got to talk about Douglas Sirk. We've got to look at, his incredible films that stand the test of time. You got to look at Todd Haynes' reworking of that in Far From Heaven with Julianne Moore. I mean, these are movies that have something to say. This movie has nothing to say. It's all style. It's really disappointing. It's really just a threadbare film. As I said, could be over in 20 minutes or less. It hammers every point over and over again incessantly and goes nowhere. Chris Pine's character is another MacGuffin. He's not even a character. He's just a pose. He's a pose of a character. I think he's pretty much stolen from Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master, and there's a real character. That's a cult leader. This is not what we have with Chris Pine. We have a fashion model, posing very compellingly, but there's no character there. His dialogue is never on point. He never says anything specific. It's all in generalities, and he's just asked to do ridiculous things, and it's just not believable. There's this huge promotion given to Harry Styles' character in a public place at this sort of burlesque show, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. There's just so many nonsensical elements to this film, because there's nothing emotional in this film. It's emotional indulgence, definitely, and Florence Pugh does a marvelous job, but it's not giving the audience anything to feel emotional about. And there's some bizarre twist which makes no sense. I don't want to give anything away. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. I think you get the gist of what I thought of this movie. It wasn't very good. It was underwhelming. It's not entertaining. If it's your jam, if you're the Harry Styles type, Florence Pugh lover, whatever, you might really enjoy this film. But for the general audience member, for people looking to see a great film that they can immerse themselves in and lose themselves in and get hooked by a story, unfortunately, this is not that movie. I think general audiences will be pretty disappointed with this film. I think it's for the initiated only, for those who admire Harry Styles or have some need to experience a fantasy of 1950s twisted. I don't know, it's just not even believable in any way, shape, or form. That's my out of the theater reaction for Don't Worry Darling. Unfortunately, it's a major disappointment and I cannot recommend it. There's just really nothing to this movie. So I hope you enjoy your adventures at the movies, wherever you are, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you on the next one. All the best and take care.